Welcome to Tzu Chi This Week. I'm Anita Lee. It's good to have you with us. Coming up, recent heavy rains battered several parts of Myanmar. We take a look at how Tzu Chi volunteers reach out to flood victims with aid and assistance. Tzu Chi volunteers in Singapore hosted their first ever team leaders training seminar over the Jubilee Weekend. Lastly, students from Taiwan's Tzu Chi University traveled to the Philippines for a cultural exchange. Recent torrential rains in Myanmar caused severe flooding in 12 of the country's 14 administrative regions. The devastation this year is the worst the country has seen in 4 decades. To offer their assistance, Tzu Chi volunteers conducted disaster surveys in the affected regions. Knowing that flood victims are in need of immediate assistance, volunteers also brought aid supplies for residents.
Here in Myanmar, residents take to using boats as transportation after experiencing the worst flooding the country has seen in 4 decades. Out of the country's 14 administrative regions, 12 of them were affected. Located west of Yangon, Ayeyarwady region received the brunt end of flooding this time. To see how they can help, Tzu Chi volunteers traveled 2 hours by car to conduct a disaster survey in Yangdong.
Our village is near the river. The heavy rain caused the dam to overflow and excess water to run into the village. It floods here annually, but this year was the worst.
10 days have passed, yet floodwaters remain. Though the government has provided residents with rice to help, many do not have the means to cook it nor have clean drinking water to survive. Worried about the flood victims' health, Tzu Chi volunteers hope to get more information from the local village chief.
If they have rice, do the residents have a way to cook it? They can cook it using water, bottled water.
As the floods this year affected many of the country's citizens, many young people were inspired to help the flood victims by taking to the streets to canvass donations as street performers. While Tzu Chi volunteers continue to conduct surveys of each flood-affected regions to come up with a relief plan for the future. While in Mandalay region, floodwaters reached rooftops.
I'm worried about the flooding in my home. The entire village is miserable. We have no way to help each other. We can't get a good night's sleep either. We are all waiting for the floodwaters to recede.
To offer some assistance, Tzu Chi volunteers from Yangon traveled nearly 12 hours to bring some relief in the form of monetary aid, as well as rice and other daily necessities. As the flood has affected the local water supply, besides distributing bottled water, doctors were on hand to educate residents on how to use water purifying tablets.
Currently, the shelters have drinking water for residents. But when they go home, they still face the problem of finding clean drinking water.
During the free clinic, I saw many patients who were suffering headaches due to the stress of dealing with the flooding.
Among the volunteers at the distribution, some drove 7 hours from Bago to participate.
The master says in doing good deeds, we must have a big heart. So the distance didn't matter to me. I wanted to contribute my share.
The flood victims here are moved that a group of strangers would come so far to help them. In the days ahead, Tzu Chi volunteers hope to be able to provide more relief for flood victims in other parts of Myanmar.
Ling Zongzhi from Malaysia, who was diagnosed with a brain tumor 2 years ago, was an alcoholic who worked long hours and often skipped meals. The illness changed his life forever. However, when Tzu Chi formed the Tzu Chi Cancer Support Group, Ling was invited to share his journey in his fight against cancer. Now, Ling vows to encourage those around him to cherish life and love their families. Last year, at the one-year anniversary of the establishment of the Tzu Chi Cancer Support Group, cancer patient Ling Zhongzhi was invited to be a guest speaker at the event. At the time, he had already undergone surgery to have his brain tumor removed.
Although he takes good care of his health because he is a workaholic and spends long hours at work, he often forgets to eat, drink, and sleep.
Devoted to his job, Ling neglected his own health in the process. Now he sets aside time each month to attend the support group to encourage other cancer patients to accept treatment and face their illness with courage.
所以人要放下执着。
其实呢，他一直都很想去帮助需要帮助
It
的
has
人。
always been his wish to help other people. He told me before that when he is retired, we should spend time helping the less fortunate. But time waits for no man, just like we should never pass up an opportunity to fulfill our filial duties or do good deeds. He attends the support group because he wants to encourage other patients to cherish every second of every day.
At the beginning of this year, Ling's condition took a turn for the worse, and his wife put her job on hold so that she could care for him full-time.
His perseverance and willpower are qualities we should take after.
Making the most out of his life, Ling has taught others that courage is not about being afraid, but comes from surviving difficult times and facing up to adversity. Last weekend, the people of Singapore came together to celebrate the nation's 50th year of independence. While many participated in celebrations, Tzu Chi volunteers gathered at the Jingsi Hall for a team leaders training seminar. But first, let's join a group of students from Taiwan's Tzu Chi University as they undertook a 2-week internship at the Tzu Chi Great Love Preschool. It is said that every challenge is an opportunity to learn something new. 7 students of Tzu Chi University's Child Development and Family Studies Department are here in Singapore to carry out a 2-week internship at the Tzu Chi Great Love Preschool.
Although we are here on an internship, we won't get academic credits for it. So we are really, in essence, here to volunteer.
The biggest challenge for us is the language barrier. When we speak to them in Chinese, they don't really understand what we're trying to convey. So we have to try and say it again in English.
Although these intern teachers experienced hiccups along the way, they were quick to rise up to the challenge and focus on their mission at hand.
Seeing how teachers here guide their students, I learned a lot through this experience. Teachers come up with creative ways to get their ideas across, and their instructions are very clear and precise.
The lessons they planned and carried out were very interesting and really captured the children's attention.
As the students' visit happened to fall around the time of Hari Raya, the festival which marks the end of Ramadan, teachers set up 3 booths which featured traditional snacks, clothing, and games to introduce TCU students to Singapore's cultural diversity.
This event has allowed me to see the world from a whole new perspective. This is something we don't see back home. So I really respect and admire the diversity and heritage of this country.
The summer internship has not only broadened the students' horizons, it has also allowed them to gain invaluable work experience while exploring different cultures.
The joy on the children's faces are our greatest reward. It gives us a sense of accomplishment and confidence to do better.
From the time we began the development of our instant rice, this entire journey has been about learning to seize every opportunity and creating even more opportunities.
Dharma Master De Han shared with camp participants how the Jingsi instant rice came to fruition. The Dharma Master's sharing reminded the 345 camp participants that the path of spiritual development is a path of self-cultivation, and with a sincere heart, there is nothing they cannot achieve.
We need to adjust some areas as we have realized that there is room for improvement. We are very fortunate to have the Dharma Masters and guest speakers here to give us more insight.
人生真的有很多的无常。开始学习做法亲的贵人。
While Tzu Chi volunteers care for people in need, it is just as important to extend this kinship to their counterparts. No one felt this as deeply as Tzu Chi volunteer Luo Shufen, who received endless support from her fellow volunteers when she was diagnosed with stage 2 gastric cancer.
Our team leader organized for our team members to check up on me every day. She also reminded them to keep track of the time so that the visits don't exceed more than half an hour. I'm really grateful that she's always looking out for us.
Senior volunteers from Taiwan also took the opportunity to share their experiences carrying out Tzu Chi's charity missions in their communities and reminded camp participants to practice gratitude, respect and love when serving others. At the 2015 Team Leaders Training Seminar in Singapore, Dharma Masters from Highlands Jing's abode spoke to participants on the 6 parameters, while senior Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiwan were invited to share their experiences with camp attendees.
Following the Dharma Masters, the attendees of the 2015 Team Leaders Training Seminar chanted a prelude to the Lotus Sutra and learned about Buddhist etiquette.
The path to attain Buddhahood is very long. What must one do to stay firm and steadfast on the path? Practice the 6 paramitas.
Practicing the 6 paramitas, one reflects upon oneself while awakening others.
I learned much from this class. We must participate so we can inspire others to follow suit.
After the lessons today, I now know that among the 6 parameters, the most important practice is to give others the chance to become bodhisattvas.
After gaining an understanding of the spirit of the school of Buddhism, the attendees also made vows.
I hope to recruit more people to become bodhisattvas.
I will continue to solicit donations. I will recruit 500 donating members so they can help others like a bodhisattva with 1,000 hands.
With a grand vow and clear direction, these attendees will be sure to walk the Tzu Chi path with diligence. Ahead of the 2015 Team Leaders Training Seminar, Tzu Chi volunteers in Singapore have carefully arranged food and board for 12 Dharma families from Taiwan.
We hope they feel like they are coming home and can sleep well.
It is important to pay attention to people's needs. We learned about the habits of the Dharma Masters, so we made yellow noodles. They taste lighter and are the kind of noodles eaten in Taiwan. We made them by hand, so they are fresher.
As people in Singapore are celebrating Singapore's 50th birthday, local volunteers collected gift packs given by the government to be presented to their guests from Taiwan.
If you pour water in this cup, it fills up the heart shape. It's important we love our country as it is Singapore's National Day. Share our joy.
Local senior volunteers lead newcomers by example. Xu Ciyu, the former deputy CEO of the Tzu Chi Singapore chapter, can be seen at Tzu Chi events big or small.
I will go help out wherever I am needed. How can you inspire people if you do not do it yourself? So one must work to benefit others. Aren't we taught to take action?
Another Tzu Chi team leader, Sen Longfa, believes that working toward a common goal is the key to guiding newcomers.
There's no hierarchy. Everyone is a family. This way, everyone works happily.
The attendees take the Dharma teachings to heart and promise to apply them as they walk the Bodhisattva path.
A group of Tzu Chis from Taiwan recently went to Indonesia for a cultural exchange. While there, they visited impoverished families and students who attend Tzu Chi schools. Through the experience, the Tzu Chis broadened their scope and nurtured their compassion.
A family of 6 lives in the 6.6 square meter space, relying on their second son's income. Tzu Chis from Taiwan came face to face with families like this on their home visitations. Passing through narrow alleys and climbing steep stairs to visit impoverished families, these Tzu Chis learn not to take their own blessings for granted. Next, the Tzu Chis visited Tzu Chi schools, which include kindergarten all the way to senior high school. As different religions are encompassed in the school's culture, students here naturally respect other people's religious beliefs. The visiting college students from Taiwan also found that they could easily bond with the local students.
小孩子我是能闪则闪，能退则退。但是今天
I used to avoid children, but after coming to this class to interact with them, I think we are not all that different, and I become closer with them.
能够更跨境，与他们关系更再接近一点。
These Tzu Chis have once again learned invaluable lessons outside the classroom, and thereby enrich their life experience.
Next, we join students of Taiwan's Tzu Chi University's College of Medicine on their cultural exchange to the Philippines, where they joined local volunteers on a visit to Dreamland Village.
From cement to dirt path, students from Tzu Chi University College of Medicine walk into a poverty-stricken area where they saw a different world.
The environment here is terrible and it smells, but the people still joyfully welcomed us. Although the living environment is not ideal, they remain upbeat.
我看到就是在我家乡看不到的景。
I saw what I could not see in my hometown. A lot of people don't have jobs, and they just sit around doing nothing. It made me feel that my hometown is very
觉
blessed.
得我的家乡真是一个很幸福的地方。
The students from Taiwan were only partially right, as the villagers are now actually able to pursue their dreams with Tzu Chi's assistance. The 300 households in the fishing village face devastation each time a typhoon strikes. Therefore, Tzu Chi volunteers have continuously been there to bring their love and care. Facing natural disasters, the villagers remain undaunted and have rebuilt their homes with simple materials. Facing adversity with optimism, the villagers taught the visiting students to face disaster with a positive attitude.
Malaysia is a country characterized by ethnic, cultural, and religious diversity. Hoping to broaden their knowledge of the world, a group of Tzu Chis from Taiwan traveled to Malaysia for an 8-day cultural exchange, an experience which opened their eyes to the rich culture and heritage of the country.
This 40-meter high clock tower is one of the many major landmarks of Kuala Lumpur. Accompanied by local Tzu Chi volunteers, a group of Tzu Chis from Taiwan are getting a lesson into the rich history of Malaysia.
Everyone, these buildings that you are standing in front of used to be government offices.
At first, we all thought that these buildings were Islamic mosques because of their round roofs, but they actually weren't. They were government offices like City Hall and the post office, etc. From the clock tower in Kuala Lumpur to the Chan Klansman Study Hall, these century-old buildings opened these youths' eyes to the unique heritage and culture of Malaysia. Allow me to introduce this to you. These deities are only found on the Malaysian peninsula. Basically, these are once people of the island who became deities upon their passing.
Malaysia is vastly different to Taiwan. On the streets of Taiwan, you very seldom see such diverse buildings. We've come across some with Islamic influences, some Hindu, and even some British. So I'm quite curious as to why this country is so culturally diverse.
The 8-day cultural exchange not only exposed these students to different cultures and traditions, it has also left them with unforgettable memories which will last a lifetime.
The UK medical journal Lancet published a study that showed an adult should eat 600 grams of vegetables and fruits to keep illness at bay. To help spread the word, Tzu Chi volunteers in Geelong, with the help of team members, held a cancer prevention seminar at Stanley Glass Company to educate its employees.
As you eat 3 meals a day, you will be fine if you eat 5 different kinds of vegetables and fruits in 5 different colors. Tzu Chi volunteers in Geelong are hosting a cancer prevention seminar at the Stanley Glass Company and have prepared vegetarian lunch boxes for its employees.
As I enjoy my vegetarian lunch, I think there are enough varieties inside, and they are not oily like the dishes of typical vegetarian restaurant. By eating this, you get your 5 different vegetables and fruits.
We can make little changes in our life for the sake of our own health, society, and even planet Earth, and one of them is to be a vegetarian.
The UK medical journal Lancet states that deficiency in vegetables and fruits is directly related to the development of chronic illnesses and cancer. By eating a healthy portion, it can help prevent cardiovascular disease, cancer, obesity, and diabetes. We stayed away from processed food and used only natural ingredients. We hope all employees will start enjoying vegetarian meals. The event took the combined effort of 16 volunteers who purchased and prepared the ingredients and decorated the venue. Such simple way to a healthier lifestyle should be practiced by everyone.
17 years ago, when Tzu Chi volunteers from Malaysia first visited the tribal village of Bukit Asu, they found that the villagers lived a carefree life where money was spent and nothing was saved for the future. Since then, Tzu Chi volunteers have been helping these residents make a break from their spendthrift ways and gain some sense of financial responsibility.
The Bukit Asu mountain in Malaysia's Perak state is home to an indigenous tribe who have lived there for generations, isolated from society. In recent years, though, villagers have left their tribal community to seek jobs. However, they end up spending all that they earn without saving some away for a rainy day.
Dulu macam mana simpan, Dek? Tak ada simpan, tak tahu. Lepas tu sekarang sudah tahu. Sudah tahu lah. Macam mana tahu? Pergi bank ada macam ni lah.
Tzu Chi volunteers also taught the villagers about making monetary donations to help the needy.
Jadi biar sekarang mau taruh bulu, mau bantu dia orang balik. Biar orang yang kaya. Kaya dengan hati, kaya dengan hati.
They came one by one to adopt a bamboo coin bank. They were eager to learn how to help people. Though these people aren't very rich, but day by day, saving little by little, after a month, a filled bamboo coin bank was returned to us for donation.
In the eyes of the volunteers, spending 17 years teaching these tribal villagers responsibility and changing their lives for the better is very much worth the effort.
Early yesterday morning, some 1,100 Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiwan's Greater Taipei mobilized to assist with recovery efforts in Ulai, New Taipei City, which was severely devastated by Typhoon Saudalor. Whether it was working on the front lines or behind the scenes, volunteers worked hand in hand to restore Ulai to its former state. Thank you for watching Tzu Chi This Week. Goodbye.